You're a poor little girl born in the countryside. Because of a war you didn't start, your life is already decided. No announcement, no warning, just quiet decisions made by people who will never know your name. Before you understand the war, before you understand men, before you understand choice, your future is already smaller than the land you stand on. You grow up where the soil is thin and the winters last too long. Your home leaks when it rains and cracks when it dries. Bread is stretched, meals are counted. You learn early that hunger is normal and silence keeps you fed. The men talk about borders and armies. The women talk about surviving winter. No one asks what you want. Girls don't get plans, they get outcomes. This is when you learn something important. Choice doesn't disappear all at once. It leaves early. First, it leaves girls. By the time you're old enough to understand what's happening, you're already old enough to be used. The war presses closer. Your father doesn't have a choice. The crops failed again. The animals are already gone. There isn't enough food for everyone. In this world, when a family runs out of grain, they start counting mouths. You are one of them. A man from the city comes through the village. He speaks carefully. He brings coins. He doesn't call it selling. He calls it an arrangement. You'll be fed. You'll be housed. The family will survive the winter. Your father listens. Your mother cries. No one asks you anything. That's how it happens. You're wrapped in a blanket, placed onto a cart and handed over to men you've never seen before. They don't explain much. They don't need to. You leave behind the only life you've known because staying would mean starvation. The estate is larger than anything you've seen. Stone walls, full storehouses, servants who don't look at you. You're given rules before you're given a name. Speak softly. Eat what you're given. Remember why you're here. You're not a wife, not a servant, something in between. The first night comes quickly. There are no vows, no promises, only instruction, only silence. One moment you belong to your family, the next you belong to the household. You stay in the house. It doesn't take long to understand how things work. There is one man everyone listens to, the man who owns the land, the man who took you in. Servants lower their voices around him. Work stops when he enters a room. Decisions don't get questioned. He is the head of the household. Your days fall into a routine. Wake before sunrise, carry water, grind grain, clean rooms that aren't yours. No one asks how you feel. They just tell you what needs to be done. Time passes. Months turn into years. You grow taller, stronger. Your hands harden from work. Your body begins to change. The older women notice first. They give you different clothes. They correct how you stand, how you move. People start looking at you differently, not like a child anymore. The man of the house notices too. He doesn't say anything at first. He just looks longer, lingers. After that, things shift. Your work changes slightly. You're called away more often, given instructions you don't argue with. No one explains it to you. They don't need to. Weeks pass. Your body feels heavier. You're tired all the time. The older women stop speaking carefully. They stop avoiding the word. Eventually someone says it plainly. You're carrying a child. The house reacts immediately. For the first time, you're treated carefully. People speak more gently. They make space for you. You're given more food, more rest. It almost feels like being valued. Almost. You know the truth. It isn't you they care about. It's what your body is doing. Still, for the first time in your life, you feel less like a burden, less like something unwanted. You didn't choose this. But this is the closest thing to importance you've ever been given. Pregnancy doesn't make you safe. It makes you watched. Every movement is noticed now, every mistake remembered. The older women hover. They tell you what not to eat, what not to lift, what not to say. They don't do it for you. They do it for what you're carrying. The man of the house barely speaks. When he does, it's short. Final. You learn quickly that obedience matters more than comfort. Your body grows heavier, slower. Pain becomes normal. Sleep doesn't come easily anymore. Your back aches. Your legs swell. Your hands shake when you carry water. No one asks if you're afraid. They just tell you to be careful. The night the labour starts, there's no warning, only pain. It comes in waves that steal your breath. The older women pull you into a small room. They close the door. You scream into cloth. You bite your own arm to stay quiet. Hours pass. then more, sweat, blood. The air feels heavy and hard to breathe. Just before dawn, it's over. A child cries. For a moment everything feels unreal. Someone lifts the baby, someone nods. It's a boy. The man of the house finally enters the room. He looks at the child, then at you, not with warmth, with calculation. You're praised quietly, fed well, left alone to recover. But it doesn't last. Weeks pass. The child is taken often, held by others, shown to guests. You're allowed to watch, not to decide. Your body heals, your status shrinks. Slowly, the extra food stops. The careful voices fade. You're back to work sooner than you should be, carrying water again, grinding grain again. Only now, you do it while watching your child grow from a distance. Sometimes, when the house is quiet, you think about how you ended up here. The war, the hunger, the fear, the choices your family never really had. You understand something slowly. The war didn't end. It's still going on. Men still leave the countryside. Some return injured, some don't return at all. Even inside this house, the war decides everything. It brought you here, and it never really let you go. Time moves differently now. Years pass without being counted. Seasons change. Your life doesn't. You stop expecting anything to improve. You become pregnant again. This time, nothing feels new. You already know the routine. Work slows. Your body changes. Pain returns. Labor, recovery, back to work. You don't think about it anymore. You just endure it. Then new girls arrive, thin, quiet, confused, brought in from the countryside the same way you were. You're told to teach them the rules, what to say, what not to say, where to stand, when to stay silent. You hear yourself in their questions. That's when you understand. You were never special. You were just next. Years pass, your body slows, your hands ache. People speak to you less, look at you less. You still work, you still obey, but you're no longer noticed. The war took your childhood, the household took your life. When you're gone, the house will still stand, the land will still be worked, the war will still shape lives, they won't remember your name. War doesn't kill everyone, some people are kept alive to serve it.